taking backup of your files and folders made easy with Azure Recovery Services, or in short, we also called MARS, M-A-R-S, Microsoft Azure Recovery Services. So let's take a backup of the virtual machines folder. So let's think that this can be your on-premises machine, or it can be a Azure machine, or a virtual machine within your on-premises. So it doesn't matter what machine it is, it matters what files you want to take a backup and restore. Do you want to restore to the same machine, or you want to restore to alternative server or alternative location? That's what it matters to us. That being said, let's jump into Site Recovery Services Vault, because this is where we are going to create a backup. So to create that, you need to create a recovery service vault. So in my case, I'm going for the new recovery service vault and giving a demo backup, and let's validate this name. Yes, we do have, and just create. So this is going to be creating a recovery service vault, and with the help of this recovery services, you can take the backup of your virtual machines, files and folders. You can lift and shift your machines. Let's say you have an on-premises Hyper-V machines virtualized by VMware, or physical machines, that all can be migrated and bring to your Azure cloud. So let's go to this specific resource called Recovery Service Vault, and within this we will go to getting started with a backup. Actually, what happens is, if you're trying to take a backup, this is the backup wizard you can follow, and if you're trying to recover, or you want to move your virtual machines from on-premises to the cloud, then go to Site Recovery. Or you want to migrate your physical servers that to be for the purpose of disaster recovery, then click on these steps like virtual machines or VMware machines to Azure cloud, or maybe Hyper-V machines to Azure, or including your physical machines also can be migrated. And this is where the backup can happen. So when we talk about the backup, it can be a file level backup, or it can be a VM level backup. So you can take here, you want to take the backup of Azure on-premises or Azure Stack. You can select and you can enable the backup configuration. So these are the two getting started wizards are very helpful. To take the backup for your on-premises or files and folders, then you need to select as on-premises. Even though if the virtual machine is in your cloud also, you can take as on-premises, because we are trying to do is we are trying to take the files and folders as a backup, right? So it doesn't matter where it is actually, right? So we wanted to take the files and folders, and in fact my testing environment is again on Azure cloud virtual machine. This is a virtual machine that I'm gonna take the backup, but that's fine. It doesn't matter where is the machine, it matters only what kind of things you want to take as a backup. Do you want to take a files and folders, or system state, or anything, bare metal recovery? It all depends on what you wanted to take. So in my case, I'm taking for files and folders. In case if you're very interested for the system state, you can take that. So in my case, just wanted to demonstrate on files and folders, take that checkbox and prepare infrastructure. So as we talked earlier also within different lectures, the getting started will prepare your infrastructure. That gives you an options. Once you fill those options, it's gonna actually put everything into the manage, or maybe in a protected items. So that's where it's gonna come, either any of these two gonna fulfill. So in our case, we are gonna prepare the infrastructure now. So what does it mean? It says that, hey, you have to install an agent called Recovery Service Agent. Sometimes we also called, as per the Microsoft documentation, we also call Microsoft Azure Recovery Services, in short MARS. We also call as this name, so don't get into confused if anybody using as a MARS. So it just refers to the Recovery Service Agent. So I can download this. I simply have to take this a link and say that I have already downloaded, or maybe a download. So I'm going to download on this virtual machine here. Since it's a server, I will disable this IE enhanced security for my local admins, and I'll start downloading this specific agent software by simply clicking here and paste. That would takes to the recovery agent or MARS agent. It gets downloaded. Now download is completed successfully. Now let's go back to the wizard. It says that hey, the first step is you need to download MABS agent. So we did download that, and we can see that download the vault credentials. You see here, these are the credentials which are required in order to, while we install this, it's going to ask you the credentials. So let's begin to run this. So it's going to ask us the credentials. So let's click on the run. That's going to actually start installing the required agent specific, and it's very straightforward, the installation. And it's asking where do you want to put the installation folder and the cache location. So I'm just accepting the default, and I have direct internet, so I'm not going to use any proxy settings. And I say that hey, I want to recommend to use the Microsoft updates as we talk. And then let's go and install the .NET Framework 4.5 and the PowerShell specific commands or modules that are required for .NET 4.5 and Windows PowerShell specific things. It's going to install. So once the installation is completed, it's going to actually ask for the wizard. I just minimized everything, and it says that hey, proceed to register. So what happens is, to register, it will ask you to enter the vault credentials. So these are the credentials that I need to download, and I need to show these credentials to my virtual machine or my on-premises server, so that it knows that these are the credentials. That means it will contain the vault server specific configuration, and it goes and there it's going to register that. So once it is registered, it will appear in the backup items for the backup specific information. So to do that, I just have to click on download. So it has just downloaded this specific file. So I'll just copy this file, and I'll paste it to a desktop. And just once I have copy pasted the credentials, I have to show these credentials, because these credentials will be will contain all the encrypted information to register to that specific vault service. So it's just validating by contacting to our vault server. So vault server, again, what we have created. So in this case, we have different vault services. If you remember, this is a vault service that we created with the name of here backup demo. So with that, it's going to be registered within this backup demo vault, this specific virtual machine or the physical machine, whatever you take it. So it's going to be registered there. So now it's validated, and it clearly shows that the region and my subscription ID and my vault name as demo backup. So what does it means is, when you download these keys, when I click on download, if I do twice like I just did here, it's not going to work with the older key vault. So I should be using all the time with the latest one. Just wanted to show you that, and click on next. That's gonna register. Now it says that encrypting the password. So because your data is going to live or going to be copy pasted in your Azure cloud. So Azure cloud is managed by, again, Microsoft. So how do you encrypt the data? That's very important. So I'm going to here enter a 16 digit or 16 characters, a long lengthy your own key value. So if you don't know what that value, you can regenerate that key, so that it's gonna generate automatically this key. And you can type your phrases here if you want, and that would actually save in a local also. So if you see here, these are the keys that are automatically generated, and in the backup, in the event of when you wanted to recover, you need to store or you need to show up these encryption settings, because that will contain your phrase to save locally. So I'm just going to save here the file, and then click on finish. So it's going to save that recovery value also on my desktop, and I make sure that that file should be available with me. You see here, this just got created, and it must be with me, and the strong warning is local, so you must have to secure this. Normally in the next coming demo, I'm going to show you how do you secure these keys to store on a key vault. So within Microsoft Azure, you have a key vault to secure your passwords and your secrets and your PKI certificates in your key vault services. So that's a key vault, and I'm going to show you that how to secure that with the encryption with the help of key vault services. So everything gets stored there. So for now, with this demo, it's just the file services specific, so I just saved on my local machine. Launch, I'm going to launch this the wizard, which is nothing but this Azure Backup wizard. This will actually show us the backup information. At the same time, if you want to backup, you can schedule a backup by locally running, so all this data will go to Azure Cloud. So let's go back to Azure Cloud for a minute, and let's see, what these the steps we have so far completed. So we have done the installation agent, and we registered by downloading that key vault or the key vault specific credentials, and we also have to schedule the backup using service agent UI. So we have to do that. That's what we have opened. Once a backup is scheduled, you can run the backup jobs, and then you can monitor and you can configure the notification alerts. So let's do the step 3 here, scheduling the recovery agent services to take the backup. So we click on the schedule backup and click on next. It's going to give you the items that needs to be take the backup. For example, you want to take the system state, and also you want to take what folders you want to take the backup. So in my case, I want to take, let's say there's a folder, this is critical folder, let's say before backup, I want to take that folder as a backup. So let me show you what is there inside that. So if I just go back to C drive, and before backup, I have a single file with a timestamp attached, and click on next. So that's going to take the backup. So do you want to schedule this backup on a weekly mode or a daily mode? So it's better that you schedule for weekly or daily. It depends on your business case. So in my case, I'm scheduling for weekly on every Saturday and Sunday. So my mission is not so much critical, or think that the files are not going to change frequently, then I'm okay to take the backup on weekends. That is again in the midnight, let's say 12 a.m., so that nobody is working. Or maybe I can say that every day at 12 a.m. also fine. So based on your business justification, you can business policy on a backup, you can go ahead and schedule. And then weekly retention, so how many days you want to retain this backup copies, how many of the backup copies you want to retain. So in my case, you want to retain for 60 days or 8 weeks of this. Those things all depends on your case. So I'm just setting here one, and that's 4 weeks, and with the 7 days, just because I just wanted to delete as soon as possible. I don't want to get it bill lot, so just taking this. And also you can go for monthly retention policy. Also you can keep how many months these backup, so you can schedule, you can modify based on the policies, and then click on next. So simply specify your backup schedule, and next would be the retention policy. You can schedule that how many days you want to available, or make it available as a retention, this backup, and then click on next. So you can change based on your policy, and then choose you want to take as an online or offline. So there's a major difference between online and offline. If it is normally lesser in terms of the data size, then you can go for the online. So that means over the internet it will backed up to Azure Cloud Vault Services, whereas here offline you can request Azure Data Box, so that Microsoft will send the TBs of the data disks to you, and you would copy there, and then you can send it that to Azure data center, closest data center, and they would actually connect it. So it would copy it over the internet, instead of the internet it would copy it over the LAN for them. So that's what the data transfer. So it would be a lot of security policies that needs to be followed. So that would, while transferring the data from your office location to Microsoft Cloud, like the security, what happens if in between theft, all that would be calculated, and all the standards would be followed by Microsoft, since they are compliant on that part also. And the other one would be you can transfer on your own disks, and you can send it to them. You can find for these two things the Microsoft documentation, you can follow that. But most of the time it would be a transferring over the network. Up to 1 TB or something like that also can be. But if it is 100 TB, yeah, definitely you should think about to use the Azure Data Box, which will come a dedicated disks for you. So that's okay. So I'm going to choose online and click on next, And system state and files and folders, I'm going to take as a backup. So it's going to creating a schedule for us. So the wizard successfully created for system state as well as the files and folder. Let's go to the backup wizard console, and you see here if you want to take the backup, you don't see here anything, but if you just go and to take the backup, you can simply click on backup now. That's gonna happen the backup, like you want a files and folder or system state, you can take it. So I'll just initiate the backup now and then say backup. So it's going to be take that specific folder as a backup, and you see here the backup job alerts are coming up here, whether it is a successful or completed, not completed, all that state I would be getting. So I have to wait the additional backup schedules. Let's say we created as part of this wizard here. If you see here C colon as well as a system state, and I'm going to take the backup would happen next day, which is 12 a.m. every day, and a week's every day, let's say every week, it's going to happen for the system state as well as the selected files going to happen on 11:30 p.m. and 12 p.m. So whatever the timelines you have given as per your backup policy, it's going to take the backup, and it's taking some time. Now the backup is completed, and if let's see, this is what the schedule. If you are wondering that where should I see the schedule, this is the schedule that we have created, and this talks about the destination utilization for your retention range. All that information you want to change, you can do that from here. You see here, this is where you can modify that specific thing, and you can do all the required changes, including the backup add items or specifying the retention, scheduling. All that options can be done here. And also, if you are looking for network throttling, that's also very important, right? If you think about there is a size of huge, maybe a 10 GB or 15 GB of data that you wanted to migrate to your cloud as a backup, then you have to set the network throttling also. That might be because those changes are available under change properties. So if you just click on here, and throttling can be enabled by taking this specific checkbox, like you can specify your work hours. Let's say your office works maybe 8 a.m. to maybe between 6 or maybe 4 p.m. between and later point. You can actually throttling can happen only this time, or 512 KB is allowed, or maybe non-working hours can be allowed, maybe 10 KB or maybe MBPS of 10, like that. You can configure the way you want it, and it all depends on your throttling settings. So these are the settings, and if you're looking for the proxy configuration, you can do it. And these are the encryption settings. If you forgot, you can put your own values here, and then you can browse to save that file, which we have created here on our desktop as the backup encryption key. These are the key values that needs to be given in case if you want to recover that, right? And if you are trying to re-register without installing, you can do from following this register server and simply locate your key vault service, and that's going to actually register to Azure cloud in a different key vault service. So let's go back to Azure portal and see what we have done so far. So we installed the recovery agent, we also downloaded credentials, we set the schedule, we have taken a backup, and to configure your notifications for your backup failures, all that, you can simply click on here. So that's where it's gonna set the configure notifications. So you can on, and you can give the email addresses by giving a semicolon, so that you're gonna get the alerts for per alert or hourly digest. You can get it like critical, complete, all that information. So once you have done that, all the configuration, so this is nothing but this specific wizard is almost we have done. We can think on that way, and we can close this specific wizard from here. And now it's time for us to locate from the Azure Key Vault. So what we have done so far, and whether those specific virtual machine specific folders came or not, we can check it directly from the backup items. And when you click on the backup items, you can clearly see Azure Backup Agent 2. So two things they are actually getting. One is a system state and also the C column. So for the virtual machines which are protected is VM01, VM01. And if I locate the other thing, And maybe if you think that why the VM name 01 is there, because the VM itself are named as a VM01, but from the console it is showing as a VM02. So don't get into confuse that. The actual VM is VM01, actual VM name. So I'll just give you host name of this VM. So that's a VM name itself, VM1. So that's why it's showing here. One is the system state and the C column, which were taken as a backup. And if you look at the replicated items, that's a different story. That talks about the site recovery specific, but now we're talking about the backup. So we know now the backup how to take, and if you want to create, you can apply and create different backup policies based on your requirement, like a file share or as your file machine based backup policies, and you can apply that. So now once we have done this specific backup, how do you recover? So just to recover, let's do the quick recovery on the same machine by recover data. So before do the recover, you can say that you want to recover on this server or another server. So in my case, I want to recover on this server. That's a VM01, individual files and folders I want to recover. And do you want to basically restore that from the C drive of this specific time? So it's going to be mount that specific one on that whatever the time zone it has taken as a backup. That mount would happen based on the VSS value, because it has taken a backup as a VSS. So let's see if I just go back here. And you see here it says that recovery volume has been mounted as a E drive, and successfully it was mounted, and it can be extended up to maximum 7 days. So let's open the file explorer that we try to just open here. So when we open this file explorer, we could see here very clearly E drive is mounted as expected here, and also we have the folder whatever we have taken as a backup and a file. If we just open this file, we do have the content of that. So that's how it's going to work, the backup restoration part. And apart from that, if you want to unmount, you can unmount the one the drive which you don't want, maybe like post to the file copying, all that you can do it from unmount, so that it's going to be removed from this specific thing automatically from the Windows Explorer. So that's how it's going to work. I hope this entire lecture is useful for you. Thank you for watching this.